Now I have come up with another sample program of functions, and in this lecture I would be demonstrating the working of global variables. And in this program I have declared this variable n which will be perceived to be a global variable because it has been declared at the top of the definition of the three functions that I have defined, namely the function main. This is the body of the function sample, and here is the body of this function check. And again see, because this variable n has been declared at the top of the definitions of all these functions, it will be considered to be global. There will be only one single copy of this variable n, and it will be accessible to all the functions. See, here I have given the prototype of this function sample, which I would be calling from this function main. Here I have got the value of n printed on the screen, which will be of course 1000. Then I am calling the function sample, and when the control will go into the function sample, here also I have declared or given the prototype of this function check, because I will be calling this function check from within this function sample. So here I am printing the value of n, which would be of course 1000, because the same global variable n is being accessed by all these functions. Then I am making a call to this function called check. So the control is bound to go to the body of this function check, which has been written here. Again I am printing the value of the variable n, and of course again the value 1000 will be printed. And after execution of this function check, the control will go back, and at the calling location, in this case it will go back to the next statement of the calling statement. Why? Because we are not returning any value. So it will go to this place. This is the termination of the function sample. Sample was called from here, and the control will go back to the following, should go back to the following statement of this calling statement sample, because there is no meaningful statement after this calling statement sample. It will go to the termination of the function main, and your program will be terminated. Let me execute the program, and you can see the result. I have got the values of this global variable n printed in all three functions, and they are printing the value of the same global variable n. Okay, now I move over to the next program. In this program I am going to show you this fact that if we make any changes into the global variable, that is going to affect all the functions. That means this changed value will be used by all the functions. Why? Because as you know, there is only one single copy of the global variable. If any function makes any change into this global variable, that is applicable to all the functions and not only to the function which has made the change. I'm going to illustrate this with the help of this simple example. This is the prototype of the function sample. I'm getting the value of this global variable n printed on the screen, which will be 1000. Then I'm calling the sample function. Control will go to the sample function. Here is the prototype, and I'm getting the value of, here is a prototype of a function called check, which I would be calling from this from within the body of sample. This is value of n, which will be of course 1000. Here I am calling the function check, right? Control will go into this check function. Again the same value 1000 will be printed, because the same global variable is being accessed. But here is the main particular main thing that we are going to understand. Here I have incremented the value of n by 500. That means the n plus is equal to 500. As you know, it means n is equal to n plus 500. Value of n will become 1500. Then this printf statement will print the new value of n, which is new value is 1500. That will be printed. And as you know, the flow of the program will be like this. The control will go back to the to the next statement of the calling statement. Here this function check was called. It will go down to the next statement, which will print the new value of n, which is again 1500, right? And again the control will go back to the calling location. This function sample was called from this statement of the function main, and the control is bound to go to the next statement. And here again we are printing the value of course the updated, the new value of the variable n, which is 1500. So now I am going to print this, I am going to execute this program. You can see first all these functions were printing the current value of n, which was 1000, and when the last function check changed the value of n, it made the value of n as 1500, and all these functions, they are printing this value 1500, new value of n.